No one is coming to save you. So what are you waiting for? If you don't start building your life intentionally now, years will pass and your dream life will slip away. You don't need a perfect plan. You need to start shaping the direction that you want. Every small choice that you take compounds, and most people waste their time waiting for the right moment to start. But the truth is, the right moment doesn't exist. You have to create it. You have to create the right moment to start. I'm going to show you how I build my business, my mindset, and my habits, and how you can too, for whatever it is you want to create. So what happened first for me? I started years ago. I knew that I was not in an environment that was going to enable me to get to where I wanted. I knew that if I followed that path, then I would end up in a place that didn't feel right. So I took the matter into my own hands. I started writing a book at 15 because that's what felt right for me in the moment. And I promoted it and did everything right, got it published, but it didn't work. And then I asked myself, why? And there were multiple answers to that question. But the truth is, in that moment, I realized that writing that book was what felt right for me. But pursuing that in that way, based on only that creation of mine, was not how I wanted to start. It did not feel impactful enough. And I'm really proud of writing it. But its impact was limited. But it's actually a good thing because it redirected me to the field that really matters to me, which is what I'm doing right now. Helping people become the best version of themselves, talking about psychology, talking about relationships. This is my purpose, and this is what feels right to me. And I can do it in any format, but this is the topic. This is the subject that feels right to me. I actually started about a year ago another account on Instagram, and I started posting, and I was really consistent in the beginning, but it quickly didn't work, and I did not also have enough information to make it work. And I knew that I had to be more consistent, but it didn't feel like it was leading me anywhere because I was missing so much in that picture. So I put that aside for a while and waited to have enough information, to have the right environment also, because I had just finished high school and I was going to start university, and I thought, this is what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to try to make it work. I'm going to try to get something out of this. And I did the first year. I was interested but not fascinated by what I was doing, and for a lot of people that's enough, but for me it wasn't. So I thought maybe the second year, that's when I will find it more interesting because it becomes more concrete and it becomes more specific, and that way maybe I'll find something that makes sense to me. But I just kept getting more lost. And a few months ago, that is when I realized, by watching various podcasts, various videos, that nobody was coming to save me. And staying in university and hoping to one day get the feeling that this would be right or that something would be right, it was pointless. Because the only thing that will tell you what is right for you is trying things out. If what you're doing doesn't make sense to you, then it's not by staying there and waiting for it to fall from the sky that you're gonna get it. It's by actually experiencing new things that interest you, that actually wake you up, that make you feel alive. Because that is what your purpose is, no matter the form, no matter what it is. Either you want to start social media, either you want to start a business, a small business, maybe you want to work in a company. Whatever it is that you want, you will only know by starting. You want to start a small business. Try a small offer for a limited amount of time for what it is that you want to sell right now. Let's say you want to start a jewelry business, handmade. Well, first, you're going to research that niche. You're going to start posting on social media and create the anticipation of your audience. So when you actually introduce the product, your audience knows what to expect and they know what you're selling and they are actually already ready to buy from you. And you don't have to make thousands of them. You can just make a limited offer and create a website, promote those and sell them and see how that goes. If you like that, then keep doing that. But it's only by trying that you will figure out if it feels right for you. There's nothing wrong with changing your path. There is nothing wrong with wanting to change, because putting yourself on the wrong path instantly makes it more difficult to get out. It's not impossible, but it's much more difficult because you are voluntarily putting yourself in an environment that doesn't feel right to you, but you're putting yourself there. People expect things from you. You have responsibilities. You have expectations. And you cannot run away from that. You cannot say yes to a job and then not do it well because it doesn't feel right. You said yes to the job, now you have to do it. And that is the hard part. If you don't want to do a job you don't like, then actually ask yourself what it is that you want to do. That is how you get answers. It's by trying, putting yourself out there. You cannot become a famous content creator if you don't post. And that's the same with everything else. Some people are lucky enough to get that job because their parents know someone who has the job. Okay, good for them. But if you don't have that, it doesn't mean that you can't get it your own way. It might take you longer, it might be harder, but you will get it yourself. And if it doesn't work, then you know that you have the resilience to put yourself out there over and over until it works. And that is a power. That is something nobody can take from you. One of the most important mindset shifts that I had to take was that my life is my life. And taking back that agency is extremely difficult in a society that constantly tries to take your agency away from you. But claiming it back is what is going to make you more intentional. That is what is going to give you intention in everything you do. You will not be passive anymore. A lot of people hate being in control of things because they do not get to choose whether they are or not. They are put in a position of responsibility over something they do not want to be responsible for. But by creating agency in your own life, you get to claim control over things you want to have control over and you do not want anybody to control for you. That is your job, your purpose, your habits, your mindset. People do not have control over those things. Your job, that is what you choose. Of course, you cannot control everything about it, but choosing it is up to you. Your purpose, once again, that is something that depends on you. You do not get to let somebody else choose for you what your purpose in life will be. That is up to you, but you need to claim back that agency in your life. And you will feel it. You will feel that difference. Every day you will feel more intentional, and that will make you happy. Because if you just float through life with no control over what you can do, then you have control over nothing. And that is a very sad way to live, because then you start hurting others by trying to control them. Because you desperately want to have control over this one thing, but you forget that you cannot control other people. The Stoics used to say something. There are two types of things in life: the things you can control and the things you cannot control. And that is very true. The things you can control are things that revolve around you. Your actions, your words, your thoughts. Of course, it's all very hard to control, but it's up to you. You get to wake up early and choose to go to the gym and choose to work towards what matters to you. What you do not have control over is other people. Their opinions, their trauma, their past. Whatever else goes on outside of who you are, you do not have control over. Now, this is how I've achieved this mindset. But mindset is not the only thing that helped me get to where I am. The other thing that is fundamental is habits. And you've probably heard every single piece of advice regarding habits. And I will tell you that it is very much specific to you. If you haven't read Atomic Habits by James Clear, I strongly recommend it. And that helped me with some of my habits, but not all of them. I effectively do a few things that I have built over the years to help me become the best version of myself. The first thing is no phone at least 30 minutes before going to bed. And then journaling and reading. That is what I do every night, and I have for the past 2 years. And once again, it's hard the first month, and then it becomes natural. Another thing is going to the gym. I've been going to the gym for almost 2 years now, consistently, 3 times a week. That really also depends on my health. I've had some health problems recently. There are other habits that are specific to what you want to build. For me, it's filming. I have to film for all my accounts and channels, and I have to be consistent about it. So I have to build a habit to post consistently and therefore to film consistently. And there are days you don't want to do it. There are days you're not feeling well, but that consistency is what gets you to where you want to be. Now I'm going to give you the step-by-step plan on how I got to where I am now, and how I will be able to keep going, and how you can too. First of all, you need to define what meaningful means to you. You have to ask yourself, if nobody could see the result, if nobody could clap for you, would you still want it? But also ask yourself, would you still choose that path if it took you 3 to 5 years? Because of course you can have a dream, and it's great to have a dream, but you have to be aware that it will be hard. And you have to be willing to do it, even if nobody's on your side, and even if it takes a lot more than you expected. So write down on a piece of paper, I want to build X because X. Now answer this in order to get to step 2. You need to track your current situation. Ask yourself, what am I spending my money on? What do I spend most of my time doing? What do I think about daily? All those things are super important to see if they reasonably match step 1. Because if they don't, this is what needs reframing. This is step 3. Now, in order to move forward, we have to remove misleading habits, the habits that keep you stuck. Now, I'm not asking you to eliminate all the bad habits right away because that will be way too overwhelming, but just pick one. If you spend over 20 minutes scrolling every day, replace that with 20 minutes of planning. Every time you have that thought of, I'm gonna scroll, pause for a second, take all that willpower that you have, take out a piece of paper and start planning the week. Now, step 4, this is actually what is going to give you momentum and is what is going to keep you accountable to build what you want. You need one non-negotiable hour. Ideally, every day, if you can't, 3 to 5 times a week, depending on your schedule. You need to be able to dedicate that hour fully to building that ideal life. Step number 5, expect 0 external validation. In the beginning, nobody will clap for you, most likely. But that should never bring you down. Maybe your family will not approve, maybe your friends will not approve, maybe everybody will be against you. But that is normal. When you're building something new that requires a completely different version of yourself, people don't like that because it's not comfortable for them. They've known you to be a certain way, and they don't like that it's changing. So remember that. Step number 6, track evidence, not results. In the first few months, you will have so much input and almost no results, but that is completely normal. Your dream is about consistent input. It is about the fact that for a long time, you will see nothing, that nothing is working, but you will keep going because you want it badly, but also because you find satisfaction and happiness in the process. That is what the process is also meant to teach you. If you only care about the outcome and the process is absolutely horrible to you, then maybe it's not meant for you. Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe it's not right for you, because the process is absolutely difficult, but it should bring you satisfaction because you're doing what you love. But if it's just a terrible, terrible thing and you only care about the outcome, whether it's fame, money, or whatever it is that you want to get in the end, but you don't actually care about the process, then maybe that's not the right path for you. And finally, step 7, recalibrate every 30 days, or even more often if you can. But recalibrating is extremely important. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and it doesn't work, maybe you need to change something about your method. So now you have all the steps to get started. Remember that it's all going to come from you. And that is both a blessing and a curse. But I believe in you. And if you want to stick around and keep growing together, I'll be here.